Now, more than ever, UFOs are big news. This mysterious and bizarre corner of recent human history may have its origins in the mid-20th century, but the flying saucers, floating orbs, and physics-defying apparent machines that routinely light up our skies have today moved on to become even bigger and even more intriguing. This is Unveiled, and today we're taking a closer look at the different types of UFO conspiracy you should know about. Do you need the big questions answered? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one, and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content. In a recent video, we zoomed in on specifically the different types of physical UFO that are apparently out there, the different shapes they can take, the behaviors they display, and so on. But next, we're focusing on the claims and stories that surround them, the themes and narratives that combine today to form a wide and complex web of UFO folklore. Many of the most mainstream UFO allegations do share some of the same characteristics, up to a point. Many UFOs are only ever seen at a distance. For example, many are seen over water. UFOs are seemingly more often encountered at night, and sometimes they bring with them other shared physical irregularities, such as an inescapable feeling of nausea, a perceptible change in air pressure, or a subsequent total memory blank. However, despite some similarities such as these, it's rare that any one UFO encounter is identical to any other. There are still some broader groups, though, that we can use to cross-reference. The first big one is government foreknowledge. Official cover-up UFO conspiracies are perhaps the most common type of conspiracy theory of all. Yes, there are some UFO claims made as though the claimant alone is at the center of the piece, as some kind of specially selected link or prophet on Earth. But there are plenty more that say, actually, lots of people on Earth know a lot more about UFO happenings than they're letting on, and that those lots of people just so happen to be government leaders, official figures, financial heads, etc., etc. We've covered this angle in plenty of videos before, but for now, we can count the likes of Roswell, Area 51, the Allen Hills 84001 meteorite, and the explosive recent revelations made by the former Israeli security chief Haim Eshed among some of the most famous examples of an alleged government cover-up. Other noted whistleblowers include Luis Elizondo, former head of America's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and Bob Lazar, a claimed former government employee at Area 51. The supposed attempts to suppress UFO information can only go so far, however, even if there were something like the real-life Men in Black to keep it all under wraps. And one of the most exciting UFO conspiracy types of recent times is a reflection of that, with hundreds, if not thousands, of UFO claims now originating from within the military. In the old days of Roswell and the like, the US military, more often than not, found itself tarred with the same brush as the government where UFOs were concerned. It was widely said that they were in on it too. Today, however, not so much. The infamous UFO report in 2021 focused on 144 UFO encounters, mostly made and recorded by military members, predominantly US soldiers, sailors, and fighter jet pilots. In modern UFO conspiracy circles, it's as though the armed forces have become the first line of defense not just against traditional threats, but also against UFOs. Here, some of the most famous examples include the USS Nimitz encounter, otherwise known as the Tic Tac, as well as the Gimbal and Go Fast clips made close to the USS Theodore Roosevelt. In all cases, and despite their superior knowledge when it comes to cutting-edge aerospace technologies, the pilots capturing footage of the UFOs could find little to no explanation for what it was they were seeing. Incredible speeds, sometimes heading into the wind, sometimes appearing to deliberately rotate. These things seemingly defied nature and physics. As such, the clips have led some to alternatively claim that perhaps the world's governments aren't on top of UFOs after all, that even if there are certain people who do know they're there, there's also nothing that anyone can do about them. Here, we head more toward the territories of there being a wider, watching alien force more akin to something seen in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. These types of theories are more fueled by things like the zoo hypothesis and the dark forest theory, both of which suggest that intelligent enough aliens probably wouldn't want to reveal themselves to us. Under these conditions, any UFO encounter on Earth or away from it with a genuinely ET artifact is a mistake on the aliens' behalf. Other examples within this category could include the claimed Black Knight satellite, as well as the various theories circling the Oumuamua object that passed through the solar system and across our own field of vision in late 2017. The background idea that we could be under surveillance is certainly a popular one among conspiracy theorists, and even among more mainstream investigators too. If you follow something like John Barrow's scale of microdimensional mastery, a potentially inevitable route that all successful civilizations must take, then it should perhaps be simple enough for an advanced alien force to hide themselves in this way, and some of the physics-bending technology we seemingly encounter as UFOs, to our eyes, might yet have an explanation as well. Today's final conspiracy group, though, isn't so interested in filling the UFO gaps with more accepted scientific models. Instead, proponents fall back on faith, belief systems, and some variously incredible alternate histories. UFO religions have risen and fallen, particularly toward the end of the 20th century, but perhaps the most famous of them all is Scientology. Founded by the fantasy writer L. Ron Hubbard and still operating today, much of Scientology is built around a couple of crucial claims. One, that we, humans, are an everlasting and non-physical life force, granted countless try-agains at reality via a long line of past lives, and therefore only briefly experiencing life in our current bodies as part of that sequence. And two, that there's been ample alien intervention in the ancient past, during times where we were all living some of our own former lives. Scientology says that Earth was actually populated by aliens originally, who arrived on this planet aboard an ancient class of UFO some 17 million years ago. For some, though, while Scientology is perhaps many things, it could be argued that it isn't an out-and-out UFO religion, because UFOs themselves aren't quite so key to its story. Other examples include the likes of the Etheria Society, formed in the UK in the 1950s, but possibly the most notable and definitely UFO religion of recent times is Heaven's Gate, an infamous late 20th century cult where followers believed that a UFO, cloaked by an asteroid, would transcend them to the next level and that they would evacuate Earth. At the cult's conclusion, 39 people lost their lives. Clearly, not all UFO conspiracies are the same. Depending upon who you talk to, they range from very conceivable to highly questionable, from light and fun to dark and disturbing. And really, there are yet more categories into which these cases could fall. Those are for another video. But for now, we have government cover-ups, military whistleblowers, watching alien overlords, and truly, sometimes tragically, impactful religions. Those are the different types of UFO conspiracy theory you should know about. What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from Unveiled, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for our latest content.